medium today. I tried for a little bit on the hard, and I couldn't get anywhere yesterday, so didn't really do a stream yesterday. But I think this one seems easy enough. Longest subarray of 1's after deleting one element. Given a binary array of nums, you should delete one element from it. Return the size of the longest non-empty subarray containing only 1's in the resulting array. Return 0 if there's no such element. So delete this element, you get 1's here and 1's here. And I guess you delete this element, you got 1's here and 1's here. Okay. Yeah, and if you delete this one, then you have to delete one. Okay. How to do this? How to do this? I mean, it seems like you would just want to find the longest streak of 1's that are like one apart. Like if a streak is broken, longest streak of 1. So if a streak is broken, you could, and it's broken only by 1 0, like not 2 zeros, but 1 0. You could, in theory, remove that 0 to combine two consecutive, or the consecutive streaks that are before and after that 0. And you would want the longest one that you've seen, the longest such that you've seen so far. And if you haven't seen that, then you would delete a 0 that is before, after. Then you'd go to the longest streak of 1's, and assuming that is not the whole string, then you should be able to delete something before or after it, because there should be a 0 before or after it. Interesting. So just keep track of the longest streak of 1's, the current longest streak of 1's, and maybe a previous longest streak of 1's. And the previous longest streak of 1's would be 0 if it has a UC 2 zeros. Okay, so keep track of current streak of 1's and previous streak of 1's. They can be combined if separated by a single 0. If separated by more than 1 0, cannot be combined, so treat the previous streak as 0 in that case. Okay, so let's go ahead and say the previous streak is currently 0, the current streak is 0, I think. For every value, I think I need to go indices for every index in the range of n, where n is the length of the array. I'm wondering if I should start with the next one and make the current streak whatever the first value is. If the first value is 0, then the current streak is 0. If the first value is 1, the current streak is 1. The reason why I'm doing this, I'm not sure if it makes a difference actually. Anyways. So if, say the value is whatever is at this index, and if, it's pretty easy if the value is 1, I think I just increase the current streak. Is that correct? think so. If the value is 1, current streak is incremented. If the value is 0, then I have to reset. So I think the current becomes the current. I think I need an answer. So the answer is the max of the current answer, and maybe the previous plus the current streak. The previous becomes 0. No, the previous becomes. What happens in the case of 0? So if I see 0, whatever the current streak is, it becomes the previous streak. So if the current streak is, like, say there's 3, I see a 0. So this streak becomes the previous streak. The current becomes 0. And then the next time I see a 1, then what happens? Then it increments. Then it increments again. So the previous streak is 3, and then it ceases 0, and it would add the 2 plus the 3. It would make the 2 into the previous. That works fine. Sees 3 and 2 zeros. First time it sees a 0, then makes the previous into 3, the current to 0. Second time it sees a 0, then it makes the current to 0 and the previous to 0, which is correct as well. I think answer. And then lastly, if there was a ending streak, then I say the answer is the max of the answer in the ending streak. I think this might this doesn't work for this one. I think if the answer is equal to the length of this, if the answer is equal to the length of the string, I think that's the one case where it's not going to work. So I return like answer minus 1. Otherwise, just return the answer. I'm going to change that formatting. Yeah, so I'm going to say the more concise way here is return the answer if answer not equal to the length of nums, else return answer minus 1. Okay. It's pretty fast, but it's not. Could be faster. I mean, this is 34. There's things that are maybe 18, which is quite a bit of a jump. Huh. What's going on here? I guess this is probably a little extra here if I create a value. This probably is a little faster. It looks like I don't actually use the indexing, even though I thought I might need to refer to when I add a double 0. So maybe I can do a for each loop rather than for an index loop. So for every value in the nums array, if that value is 1, does this work if it just has current equals 0? I think it does actually. wonder if this is any faster. Okay, it's like, what was it, 34 seconds before? 34 milliseconds. So that's one. I can wonder, answer equals the maximum. So that only applies when the streak is broken. So it doesn't actually do it all that often. I could probably change this to be like something like previous equals current equals 0, and previous current equals, the previous is now equal current, the current equals 0. I don't know if this actually does anything, any speed up here. Like, I think that might have been like 1 millisecond difference. Oh, I guess I should probably do that as well. For every value nums, if the value is 1, increment the current. Otherwise compare answer to the previous plus the current, and then make the current 0 and the previous the current, or make the previous the current and current 0. Yeah, this looks as optimized as I'm going to make it. Yeah. Okay. Summary here. So the main logic to maximize the longest subarray of 1's is to find the best kind of consecutive streaks of 1's separated by a single 0. Can do this by iterating over values of the array and keeping track of streaks, both current and previous streak of 1's. If the value is 1, increment the current streak counter. If the else update answer if the current plus previous is longer, reset or set previous streak to current and current streak to 0. This also works in the case of consecutive zeros, as the previous streak is treated as the current streak is treated as 0. So I think maybe the one optimization I could possibly try to do is if there was a bunch of zeros in the array, like a bunch of consecutive zeros. Actually, every time it sees a 0, it's going to do this maximum thing. Every time it sees a 0, it's going to do this maximum thing. So I wonder if I can avoid that. Or every time it sees a consecutive 0, it does the maximum thing. I guess maybe I can do else if the previous is not else if the previous isn't 0 itself, or if the current isn't 0. If the current is 0, then that's not going to work. If the previous is 0, then so if you have consecutive zeros, second 0 is going to be necessary to evaluate. But if you have, let's see what happens. I think I can do something like this. Previous not equals 0. It's either previous not equals 0 or current not equals 0. It might be both works. I'm almost certain that current not equal to 0 would work. I'm less certain about previous not equal to 0. Okay, maybe not. Previous not equal to 0. Okay, this one does. I'm guessing this one doesn't work as well. Yeah, so why doesn't this work? Previous not equal to 0. Yeah, it's just, yeah, this is garbage. Garbage. So current not equal to 0. I can tell consecutive 0. Like no, yeah, this is actually else if actually I can do something else if current not equal to 0 and previous not equal to 0. Yeah, if both of them are 0, then and why would this be necessary? Else if current, oh, so it's supposed to equal 0. Fuck. Okay, maybe I was thinking current equals 0. Is that what I was thinking? That didn't work out. If previous equals 0, if previous and current equals 0, this has to work. Like if they're both 0 and you see another 0, if the value is 1, else if no. Else, so reset this if previous doesn't equal 0 and the current doesn't equal 0. I already tried this. Why wouldn't this logic work? So if I see a 0 and the current and the previous are zeros, then why would I need to do this? Oh my gosh, what's going on here? What is going on here? So only do this if both the previous and the current are equal to 0. But if either of them are equal to 0, then it should do this. Okay, whatever. Alright. I give up. Alright, time complexity, this is going to be O of n as the as it is necessary to iterate over every element of the array to check for streaks. And there is constant work at each iteration. That for the for loop of if statements. Space complexity, this is me O of 1 as only variables for streak counters are necessary.